My name is Emma Rodriguez, and I am a 30-year-old woman living in San Antonio, Texas. I grew up in a neighborhood where dreams were often overshadowed by struggles, and I have fought tooth and nail to build a life better than the one my family led. I am proud of my heritage and the values my parents instilled in me. Hard work and resilience are my guiding principles. I always dreamed of opening my own restaurant, and after years of saving, I finally turned that dream into a reality by opening a small, cozy Mexican restaurant that I named Casa de Emma. It became a labor of love, a representation of my culture and my identity. I put my heart and soul into every dish, hoping to share a piece of my family with everyone who walked through my door. But just as I felt like I was on the cusp of success, things took a turn that left me heartbroken and furious. Let me take you back to the day it all changed. One evening, a group of 5 people came into my restaurant. They were all dressed in designer clothes, laughing and making jokes as they sat down at a table near the window. I recognized them instantly. They were the same spoiled kids from the high school I had attended. They had made my life miserable back then, mocking my secondhand clothes and the lunch I brought that my mom had cooked in large batches. They often called me Emma the soup kitchen girl, insinuating that I came from nothing and would amount to nothing. Flash forward a decade, and there they were, the same group whose taunts and laughter used to haunt me, now sitting at my own restaurant acting like they owned the place. At first, I tried to shake it off. I knew that I had built something wonderful, and I was proud of what I had accomplished despite the odds. But as they loudly ordered their overpriced drinks and started mocking the decorations I had lovingly chosen, I felt my heart sink. I could not believe it. They were now laughing at my establishment. Their voices dripped with the same disdain they had for me in high school. It fueled a fire in me. How dare they come here to my place and act like they were better than everyone else? I felt a mixture of sadness, anger, and humiliation. No longer was I the girl too poor to fit in. Now I was the woman who had created a space for myself only to have them tear it down. I thought about confronting them, but I hesitated. Instead, I clenched my fists and kept serving them, doing my best to ignore their rude remarks. I overheard them making jokes about my cooking and how they would never come back to this hole in the wall. It made me feel small again, just like I had felt in school. I needed to regain my power. I wanted to teach them that their words had consequences. However, my first attempts to get back at them failed. Later that week, I tried to get a group of regulars to flood my restaurant and show the previous patrons how much better my food was than their idea of high-class dining. I advertised special events, even offering discounts to those who could bring a friend to experience my cooking. But their laughing and mocking rang in my ears like a haunting melody while I prepared each meal. The foot traffic did pick up, but not nearly enough to overshadow the negativity that lingered from that night. Then, in a moment of desperation and anger, I decided that if they were going to disrespect my restaurant, then I would use it to my advantage. I crafted a special event designed specifically for them, calling it Dine Like a King, where I would showcase my best dishes paired with exclusive drinks. I invited them directly on social media, feeling empowered to confront them directly and taunt them with the idea of attending my event. They accepted, laughing at the idea that they had convinced me to hold such an event for them. I felt like I was gathering my pieces, carefully setting the stage for my revenge. However, things went wrong. The event was poorly attended, and they arrived with their entourage of sarcasm. They sat down, but my ambitions began to crumble as I watched them roll their eyes at my creations. It was as though they thrived on humiliating me. In my most vulnerable moment, I realized that they were never going to take me seriously, no matter how hard I tried. My heart sank again, and I felt ready to give up. For weeks, I battled insecurities, feeling like a failure, believing my dreams were slipping away, and their snickers echoed through the kitchen every time I stepped inside. But one morning, as I washed dishes staring at the restaurant walls, something shifted inside me. I was done feeling like a victim. I schemed and plotted a final plan that would truly rattle them. I decided I would prepare my best dish, the secret recipe for my family's enchiladas, full of rich flavors passed down for generations, and I would make them the special guests that night. But I had a secret ingredient that would leave a lasting mark. I wanted them to regret ever mocking me. The day came when I put the plan into action. I ensured the atmosphere was electric, full of memory-laden decorations, vibrant music that echoed the spirit of my culture, and a menu that would take them on an unforgettable journey. I made sure to invite not only them but also a few of their high school classmates who now respected me, hoping they would witness the fall of my former tormentors. The moment they entered, I felt a rush of excitement. When they tasted my enchiladas, I watched as their expressions changed, initially smug, then confused, and finally they were blown away by how incredible the food was. They started to eat quietly, savoring every bite. And then, as if the atmosphere shifted, I unleashed my final move. I revealed that their mocking copies of my dishes had fallen short, while mine was an authentic representation of my roots. I could see on their faces the realization of their jealousy, their desire to belittle me suddenly crashing around them in embarrassing silence. Suddenly, one of them tried to laugh it off, attempting to feign indifference, but the others were not so strong. They began complimenting my food, forced laughter turning into genuine praise that was laced with lingering insecurity and awkwardness. My restaurant quickly filled with chatter and laughter from patrons who were thoroughly enjoying the show. I felt a sense of victory wash over me, something I had longed to achieve so I could finally stand tall. In the end, I learned that my greatest revenge was not about tearing them down but about building myself up. I stood behind the counter, proud of my accomplishments, as the former bullies left my restaurant, their heads hung in silent acknowledgement of their previous mean-spirited behavior. They realized in that moment that I had managed to rise above their cruelty, turning what once was mocking into a celebration of my identity and my culture. As the sun set over San Antonio that evening, I knew the atmosphere around Casa de Emma had changed forever. My regular customers sensed the transformation, and new patrons flocked to the restaurant, eager to share in the rich, flavorful experience I had created. I had transformed the pain of my past into a thriving future, and every cheerful laugh that filled my restaurant was a delicious reminder that I had taken control. The only thing left in the wake of my former nemesis was the sound of a door closing behind them, sealing shut the chapters of history that I was ready to leave behind.